Huge NFL news. Are the Buffalo Bills already shifting their strategy after missing out on Leo Chenal? Reports suggest Buffalo could pivot quickly toward a veteran linebacker, a move that might bring experience, leadership, and immediate impact to their defense in the National Football League. While younger talent like Chenal offers long-term upside, going after a proven veteran could signal that the Bills are in win-now mode. But here's the big question. Which veteran linebacker is on their radar, and how will this decision reshape the defense? This sudden shift could reveal a lot about Buffalo's true plans for the season ahead. Stay tuned for the full breakdown. If you're a fan of the Buffalo Bills, this is one of those moments where everything can change in a matter of hours. The kind of moment where a missed opportunity doesn't just sting, it forces an entire front office to pivot, rethink, and possibly make a bold move that nobody saw coming. And right now, all eyes are on what Buffalo does next after missing out on Leo Chenal. Because make no mistake, this wasn't just any target. Chenal was viewed as a perfect fit for what the Bills are trying to build defensively. A physical, downhill linebacker with the ability to stop the run, bring pressure, and add toughness to the middle of the field. Exactly the kind of player Buffalo has been quietly searching for as they try to retool their defense into something more aggressive, more unpredictable, and frankly, more dominant. But now that opportunity is gone. And in the NFL, when Plan A disappears, you don't wait around. You react fast, or you fall behind.
That's where things get very interesting.
Because sources and insiders are starting to suggest that the Bills could pivot immediately toward a veteran linebacker, not a developmental guy, not a long-term project, a proven, experienced presence who can step in right now and make an impact. And if you think about where this team is in its competitive window, that makes a lot of sense.
This is not a rebuilding team. This is a team built around a superstar quarterback in his prime, a team that has playoff expectations every single season, a team that doesn't have the luxury of waiting 2 or 3 years for a young linebacker to develop. They need production now. And that's why missing out on Chenal doesn't just close one door, it opens another, potentially even more aggressive one. Think about it from a strategic standpoint. A young linebacker like Chenal brings upside, energy, and long-term value. But a veteran? A veteran brings leadership, communication, and immediate reliability. Someone who has seen complex offenses. Someone who can read plays before they fully develop. Someone who can line up the defense and make sure everyone is in the right position when it matters most.
That's something Buffalo has needed at times, especially in big games.
And let's be honest for a second. When the Bills have fallen short in recent seasons, it hasn't always been about talent. It's often been about execution in key moments. Missed assignments, miscommunication, a step too slow against elite offenses.
That's where a veteran linebacker can completely change the equation.
Now the big question becomes, who could that be? There are always a handful of experienced linebackers floating around, either free agents, trade candidates, or even surprise cap casualties. Players who may not be in their prime anymore, but still have enough left in the tank to contribute at a high level, especially in the right system. And Buffalo might be one of the most attractive landing spots in the league.
Why? Because this defense already has pieces. It's not like a veteran would be walking into a broken unit. They'd be stepping into a structured system with talent around them. That makes the transition easier, the expectations clearer, and the potential impact much bigger.
Plus, when you join a team like the Bills, you're not just playing for stats, you're playing for a shot at something meaningful, deep playoff runs, possibly even a Super Bowl appearance.
That matters to veterans.
But there's another layer to this situation that makes it even more intriguing. Flexibility. When you miss out on a younger player like Chenal, you also avoid committing long-term resources. That means Buffalo could have more cap flexibility than expected. And with that flexibility comes options. Maybe they don't just sign one veteran. Maybe they explore multiple moves. Maybe they look at hybrid players who can play linebacker and edge. Maybe they even consider a trade that nobody is talking about yet.
This front office has shown before that they're not afraid to make bold moves when the opportunity presents itself.
And this could be one of those moments. Because let's face it, standing still is not an option in the NFL, especially in a conference as competitive as the AFC. You've got powerhouse offenses, elite quarterbacks, and teams constantly improving. If you hesitate, you fall behind. So the pressure is on Buffalo to respond, and respond quickly. What makes this situation even more fascinating is how it reflects the evolving philosophy of NFL defenses. The linebacker position isn't what it used to be. It's no longer just about size and strength. It's about versatility, speed, coverage ability, the ability to adapt to modern offenses that stretch the field horizontally and vertically. So when the Bills pivot, they're not just looking for any veteran. They're looking for the right fit, someone who can handle today's game, someone who can stay on the field for all 3 downs, someone who won't become a liability in pass coverage. That narrows the field, but it also sharpens the focus. And if Buffalo finds that player, this could turn from a missed opportunity into a major upgrade. Because sometimes the best moves are the ones you didn't plan to make. Think about how many times in NFL history a team pivoted after missing out on a target, only to land someone who ended up being even more impactful. It happens more often than people realize. Front offices prepare for these scenarios. They have contingency plans. They have lists of alternative targets. They're constantly evaluating options. So, while fans might see this as a setback, internally, this is just another decision point. And it could lead to something big. Now, from a fan perspective, this is where things get exciting and maybe a little nerve-wracking, because the unknown always brings speculation. Names will start circulating. Rumors will start heating up. Social media will explode with potential targets and trade ideas. But the reality is, the Bills are likely working quietly behind the scenes, evaluating every possible option. They know what they need. They know what went wrong last season. And they know that small improvements can make a huge difference when you're already a contender. So don't be surprised if this pivot happens fast. Don't be surprised if, within days or even hours, you hear about a veteran linebacker signing or trade that immediately shifts the narrative. Because that's how quickly things move in the NFL. And that's how seriously Buffalo is taking this moment. At the end of the day, missing out on Leo Chenal is a disappointment. There's no sugarcoating that. He was a strong fit, a promising player, and someone who could have been part of this defense for years to come. But in a league defined by adaptability, it's not about what you miss, it's about how you respond. And right now, the Buffalo Bills have a chance to respond in a big way. A veteran linebacker might not have the same long-term appeal as a young rising star, but they could bring something just as valuable: stability, leadership, and a